You briefly introduce yourself and share which courses or universities you applied to and what mentors you worked with at Rostrum.
Hi, my name is Asabri. I go to the British School in New Delhi, and I worked with both Martin and Gwyn at Rostrum, who helped me apply to universities in both the UK and the US, out of which Imperial, Johns Hopkins, Duke, Brown, these are a couple that I applied to. I have a couple seniors that work with Rostrum from my school who told me a little bit about how Rostrum works, and I also saw a lot of posts from Rostrum on the internet, which helped me decide that this is where I wanted to get help for university. So I joined Rostrum I think halfway through year 11, just before my GCSEs, and I think the fact that there was someone who was helping me build my profile was very reassuring, and I think the first piece of advice that I think Sanjog had given me was to do a summer school in the US, because I wasn't really considering the US very strongly at the time, and he told me that I might enjoy it, and I went to Stanford for the summer school after my GCSEs, and I really enjoyed it, which is what kind of opened the US, the option of the US to me, which I'm very grateful for. And ever since then, it's just kind of been working on my applications and working towards the SOPs or the interviews, and I think there's been a sense of support throughout, which I'm very grateful for. I did not have a very large or very long list at the time, but when I started working with Gwyn and Martin, they told me about different universities that they thought I would enjoy, that they thought I was more likely to go to, whether for my course or for my criteria. I was able to sort of do my own research and learn more from both of my mentors, and they really helped me sort of put that list together as well. But I had a couple in mind, the big few that I had been hearing since I was younger. I think it was interesting because my two mentors were very different. Their approaches were very different. With Martin, it was more go with the flow, take it as it is, and he encouraged me to, have a very funny angle almost in a lot of my essays, and it was very different from, I guess, the UK application. With Gwyn, it was very informative, keep it to the point. He also helped me with interview prep, and I think that not only made me more confident when speaking in public, but also allowed me to do more research into the topic that I was interested in and learn more about it. But it was very, when writing the SOP, there was this works, this doesn't work, which I thought was quite helpful. But they were both very different, yeah. So I had applied to the UK a lot before I started the American application process. But even in my SOP, there were various changes that I wanted to make. There was a lot that it was a long process, and I think everyone in the office, especially Sanjog, was very helpful because I could, send it to him multiple times, even though Gwyn was already looking at it, and he helped me with that. And it was obviously very different because when it was time to do the American applications, there were so many essays for every university that, and I'm very grateful to Martin for helping me through it, because he would sit with me and, tell me this is what this essay is asking for, and this is kind of what you can possibly look at for it. I think the US, I was a little concerned about if my application was good enough, because I know that for the top tier universities, the fact that they value extracurriculars so much was something that I was concerned about, because I wasn't considering the US up until a couple years ago, and I was worried that because of that I didn't have the application or as good an application as a lot of other applicants. But for the UK, I felt more comfortable with that respect because it was purely academics that they wanted, yeah. So I think contrary to the general consensus, I really enjoyed writing my American applications because I just felt like they're all little stories that I can sort of talk about little different things that interest me. Whereas the UK application took me longer because it was just, so academic and to the point. And while, yes, sure, I had things to talk about, it was hard to structure them the right way and structure them the way that the universities expect them to be. So yeah, I think the UK SOP was harder to get through. I think that, like I said, the biggest thing would be the interview prep, because I know that a university interview isn't the only interview that I'll give in my life. There'll be lots more. And the training that I got from Gwyn will be helpful throughout, because an interview is an interview whether now or later. There were a couple things. I have a tendency to say which you've probably picked up on, but I think he helped me and encouraged me not to do that as much. There was also, the fact that everyone has nervous tics that they tend to do, and he kind of made sure that I wasn't doing them as much when I was preparing for that interview. And it was also, he taught me that when you're asked a question, take a second, think about it. When you don't always know the answer, try anyway. And I think these are skills that, regardless of when I use them, will come in handy. I think how time-consuming the essay writing process is. That's probably the biggest thing. Read a lot, take people's advice. A lot of people around you will suggest things, but at the end of the day, do what you want to do and what seems right to you.